Hello, my name is Alexander Morari, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. We are the only English podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-series A stage. And today we have the founder of a company which is close to my heart and everybody's heart, called Cardiomatics, out of Krakow in Poland. This is a company developing an AI-based algorithm for automated electrocardiogram analysis.
That's correct. Yeah, thank you, Alex.
Cześć, Rafal. Hi.
Cześć, Alex.
So which probably means that your total addressable market is what, 7.5 billion people on this planet?
And
is
growing.
This your ambition? Is this your ambition?
Yeah, that's kind of close to our vision. So we believe that basically the role of technology in medicine is to make medicine more human, which means that it should be more available and more efficient. So in the end of the day, all patients should benefit somehow from the technology we develop.
Yeah, okay, then let's jump into the first round of our conversation and the solution, the product. In a nutshell, how would you describe what you are doing?
Yeah, so we have developed software that is able to process huge amounts of EKG data in quite short period of time with very high sensitivity. So instead of letting physicians do manual interpretation of EKG signal, we rather believe in letting computers and machines to do the manual job. Our software is basically able to process EKG data and deliver results with important insights about patients' conditions that can be dangerous for this given person.
Okay, so you're targeting physicians and cardiologists, I understand, like globally, who then provide quicker, more accurate service or treatment or diagnosis to the general public. And now, you know what the usual fear with AI-based tools is that they are imminent danger to human operators or users, let's say, and they will replace human capital, shall we say. Is your product targeting to or aiming to replace or to enable rather the physicians and heart specialists, let's say?
Yeah? Mm-hmm. So back in 2017, when we started Cardiomatics, we believed that the main value proposition is automation. So of course we still believe in automation. What I mean is that we believe that we want physicians to spend more time with patients rather than spending time on manual work that basically no one likes. So things like in Holter interpretation or long-term EKG interpretation are not the most popular tasks. These are tasks that no one likes to do. So we build a software that automates those processes. So I would say we allow physicians to spend more time with patients, but during last months, actually, we also observed that our software is being used not only by cardiologists, but also by general practitioners. And this is where things are getting interesting, because in this case, it's not about automation, but it's more about empowering. So we have users that without Cardiomatics are forced to refer their patients to secondary care, to specialists. with Cardiomatics, they are able to do basic screening, basic Holter examinations within their practices. So this is, I believe, where things become very interesting, that we are not only we not only automate, but we also empower specialists in primary care.
So as a side note, probably the ultimate goal would be for the patients or for end users or for the beneficiaries of this product to basically measure EKG by themselves and then get the results right away by themselves, right? If that would be ideal, like self-service as far as EKG interpretations and so on. Rafal, I have a question there. Take me by the hand through the process and tell me, like you mentioned, Holter data. And Holter, I understand this is long-term, like 24, 78, 72 hour measurements of heartbeat and heart work and so on, where the subject would have like some sensors right on them to have continuous all through the day cycle, daytime cycles and so on and so on, right? Okay, and in normal situation without your product, how much time a cardiologist would spend reading and interpreting and trying to find some irregularities and so on?
Yeah, so if we are talking about regular Holter examination, it is 24-hour examination.
Okay.
This is kind of industry
so
standard.
I'm wearing the Holter monitor for 24 hours. Okay.
Yeah, and important part of this examination is that it happens outside of the clinic. So you are not lying in clinic, you are doing all your daily activities, working, running, sometimes even taking shower in some case, with some devices, sleeping. So basically you live your normal life, and we observe the electric activity of your heart. It's very important to emphasize that it is the examination that is done in natural environment.
Yeah, okay.
And answering your question about how much time it takes, on average, it takes between 20 and 30 minutes per every 24-hour examination. Okay. But this is only one side of the coin, right? How much time it takes. But another side of the same coin is that you need to be actually you need to be an expert to correctly analyze 24-hour examination. So you cannot leave this job for someone that have no expertise. So to do this correctly, first you need an expert, and second you need the time of this expert to make it correctly. Another important factor is that more and more devices are able to record even 7 days or even 30 days recordings. So these 20-30 minutes can be easily multiplied by factor of 7 or 30, giving basically hours of manual job.
So you say expertise is needed, and expertise is a very subjective thing. Somebody might be expert but tired or in bad mood, or doesn't like bad eyesight or something, and then you have all the mistakes and wrong interpretations. Okay, and as far as automation that you provide, how quick you could get the results using your solution, Cardiomatics?
Yeah, so the computation itself for 24-hour recordings takes approximately 10 minutes. So that's like a computational time. Of course, you need to remember that the data need to be uploaded to our system, then the results needs to be gathered. So the overall time is longer, but the computation itself is much faster than the human interpretation.
Mm-hmm. And what are the additional benefits of doing this through your solution? I understand the very digital nature of outcome allows something more than just interpretation here and now. I'm guessing. Am I right?
Yeah, there are more benefits of using cloud system. The operational benefit is that actually to build on what you just said, our system is not tired, right? So you can easily upload 100 recordings at one time, and our system will deal with it. So you don't need to hire 10, 20 experts to process your backlog of data. You can easily scale our system within your existing resources. So for many of our customers, this is important because they can grow the number of patients without necessity of growing the resources.
So I could say,
that's one
yeah, sorry. So let me just kick in here.
Yeah,
so
please,
I would say that the benefit could be, it could be very beneficial to use in areas with dense population or scarce physicians.
Yeah, that's correct. And second benefit is that our system is how we call hardware agnostic.
Yeah.
So basically what it means is that our system can read data from many different devices. So you can imagine practice or clinic having 2-3 different vendors of EKG machines, and Cardiomatics is kind of umbrella on top of all those devices. You can have all your patients, all your data processed with this very same system. This is also important when we deploy our system in new clinic. So there is no necessity of replacing the old equipment. We can easily integrate with existing infrastructure. And third benefit, comparing to traditional software, is that our software is fully cloud-based. This seems to be obvious in current time. Everything is cloud-based. You don't have movies on your computer, you watch Netflix. You don't have music, you stream via Spotify. But what is obvious for consumers sometimes is not so obvious in medical world. So I would say that our system is one of the very first cloud-based systems for EKG analysis. And it was very obvious that this is huge advantage during COVID time. So physicians could have access to the data from their home, from their mobile phones. They could basically do their job no matter if they were inside of the hospital or outside of the hospital.
Yeah, yeah. Just to say, you can find everything on the cloud right now. Even cloud formation interpretation could be found on cloud.
Yeah, that's
look,
correct.
Let's try and have a look at the solution itself and show us how it works and what these actionable insights that you say you get, how do they look like? Okay. So Rafal, let's make a simulation. I'm your new client in a cardiological clinic in, where is your most promising market right now?
Right now, Germany.
So ich bin ein Herzdoktor. Ich spreche ein bisschen Englisch. Please show me how it works.
Perfect. As I said before, the important part of the system is that what you see is fully cloud-based. So we will not need to come over to your clinic. We can do all the deployment completely remotely.
Yeah.
And the system will be up and running 30 minutes after this presentation. So this is kind of beauty of the cloud-based solution. And what you need to do on daily basis, you just need to upload the data from your local computer. In this case, we have data gathered with GE Healthcare device, but our system is hardware agnostic. So no matter what kind of device you have in your clinic, we will be able to read the data from that particular equipment.
Rafal, and we are planning to upgrade our equipment, and I understand you will be able to cover this as well, right? You cover all the possible EKG machines. Okay.
That's correct. Yeah, and right now I will just put some random data here as a patient data and
Yes, okay.
upload the signal. As you have seen, the upload itself is pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends on the network connection. And now the magic is happening. What is happening is our algorithm on the servers process your data. Depending on the length of the data, it can take some minutes to have the results back. The important factor for you, my German user, is that we have separate server locations on all major markets, meaning that in German case, the data is stored and processed in Germany. So the data does not leave German borders. The same is true for UK and of course all the major markets. This is because the privacy regulations. Also, the data transmission itself is fully encrypted, end-to-end encrypted. So even if someone will have physical access to our servers, the data over there will not make any sense for the random user. So we spent a lot of time to take care about the privacy and data security. As you can see in lower right corner, our software is also medical device. You can see CE mark. That's something unique, that the purely software-based solution is treated as a medical device, but that's this is the requirement. So our software have basically the same fulfills basically the same regulation as Holter device or EKG machine.
Cool.
The report is ready right now. We can see what are the most important findings here. Yeah, so Lucky John Doe has 95% of normal rhythm, which is good. I mean, for 95% of the time, his heart rhythm is normal, which is completely standard.
Rafal, remind me, please. Otherwise, I would have to write all these descriptions and interpretations manually, right? This is the main like game changer. I understand. Right now, I'm doing this manually, and you give me a final version or a version to base my own interpretation on, or can I just send PDF and share with my client, patient?
Yeah, so of course, the software that is currently used by clinicians do some of this job. So, for example, all those charts are similar to the one that they are used to see in traditional software. What our software does is full classification. So we don't require you to do any additional steps regarding classification, noise interpretation, or basically cleaning the signal.
And take me through the tabs. Oh, sorry. Take me through the tabs as well, like description, hourly summary table, written by hour, just to have a general look.
Yeah, so those tabs contains all the information that you require to make clinical decisions. So it's important to mention that our software is not diagnostic software. So we don't claim that we do diagnostics. We support your activities to make the best possible diagnosis on this particular patient. So you have the description that is basically generated by our natural language processing module that you can copy and paste to a given patient documentation. Hourly summary table and rhythms by hour, those are tables containing the data, details of data for all the 7 days of this particular recording. Heart rate plot is traditional heart rate plot containing basically the pace of your heart during the whole study. But the most important parts are contained in selected ECG events. So what our algorithm does is selection from those 7 days of examination. It selects the most important events that you should look into, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
to simplify, instead of looking into 7 days recording, which is like kilometers of EKG strip, you can just look into these selected EKG events to have best possible knowledge about this given patient. And the result, as you see them, can be sent via PDF. Of course, they can be also edited at this stage. So what you can see, what you can do is you can edit all those sections. You can select which events will be included in final report.
And usually these selected ECG events are either irregularities or some events like requiring special attention because they are out of the norm for this very patient, right? More or less. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
that's correct. In this case, we see mainly sinus events, which are normal, but you see also examples of ventricular beat that are something that we should give special attention to.
Okay, as far as languages, this is in English. Do you have other languages as well? German?
Yes, we do. Of course, as Germany is important market for us, we have German version, but also Dutch, Portuguese, French, and Italian.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Yeah. So speaking on the business side, how do you price it? What's the model right now? You have paying customers, I understand. And if whatever you can share with us would be great to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cardiomatics is currently used by approximately 900 practices across Europe. By practices, I mean both small single physicians and also big hospitals. So we are size agnostic. We can deploy Cardiomatics within small practice and a big hospital as well. The business model is pretty simple. Actually, there are two possibilities. One is fee for service or pay-per-use. You pay a small amount of money every time you use Cardiomatics. So there are no subscription fees. There are no additional costs. You just pay as much as you use Cardiomatics. And this business model is typically popular among small practices, single practitioners. On the other hand, we offer a subscription, which is basically what we all understand as subscription. You pay same amount of money every month, and you have unlimited access to Cardiomatics. The cost of the subscription depends on the number of devices you have within our umbrella. So the more devices your hospital owns, the more you pay for subscription. Just to give you rough number, middle-sized clinic will pay on average €1,000 per month of subscription.
And this would allow to diagnose, or let's say to interpret EKG readings from how many patients now, like more or less?
Yeah, more or less, that kind of clinic do up to 100 examinations per month.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. And as far as data from one clinic in Germany, let's say, and I'm the patient, can I somehow make this clinic to transfer this data to another clinic, not to do the same, not to go through the same process again? What practical experience you have on this side?
Yeah, so what we are referring to is basically close integration to EHR system or creating some kind of network within Cardiomatics. We are not there yet, but with growing number of users, we do have that kind of, let's say, collaboration features on our roadmap. So you can expect that in upcoming months, we will release some of those features to our end users.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Rafal, before we move on to the next round, what interesting or cool thing about the project and the solution I forgot to ask? What would you ask yourself?
Yeah, I think that the unexplored area is predictive analysis. So right now, what we do is simple diagnosis. Of course, my technical team would not agree that this is simple because we have sophisticated algorithms, but still we are trying to figure out what's going on here and now with this particular patient. I think that the very interesting direction, and we see more and more of that in medicine, digital health especially, is predictive analysis. So once we will gather enough data, especially data from the same patients, but through the long period of time, we will be able to give not only diagnosis, but also some predictive information. Like with your current lifestyle, you have 60% of chances of developing atrial fibrillation in upcoming 10 years, something like that. So this is kind of middle or long-term vision, but I think this is where things are getting very interesting.
Very bad of me not to ask this question. I think this is very important because it's first forward-looking and also something that might keep you busy for many years to come. And I understand this would be one of the outcomes of big data kind of collection, right, of this information. Interesting. And then you, of course, can do demographic categorization, right? And then, wow, that's an interesting intellectual and definitely like more of a deep tech rather than like med tech, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it opens very interesting discussion about demographic, about epidemiology, things like that. So as I said, we are not there yet. We observe that other companies are also trying to figure out how to tackle this area, but I believe this will be kind of hot thing in next 5-10 years.
Rafal, thanks a lot. Enough about a solution and product. Let's move on and see how many sparring partners you have. Around 2 competitors. Who would you call your biggest 2-3 competitors, and how do you want to be on top of them?
Yeah. We are in medical industry, and the kind of unique thing for medical industry, with all the respect for this industry, is that it is at least 10 years or maybe even 20 years behind other industries. It's mainly because we are dealing with humans, right? So you don't want to make too many innovation or experiments on humans. But
okay.
What I'm trying to say is that our main competitor is basically traditional software or status quo. So probably 99% of EKG examinations in the world are currently analyzed by humans, I mean manually. So if we go to the market, if we talk with our potential customers, typically is not, we don't deal with the situation where they have our competitive solution in their practice. Typically they don't have any AI software at all. So that's 99% of the market. In the remaining 1% of the market, there are companies that do AI-based software for EKG examination. The largest one is a company called Cardiologists from France. They do a very similar thing. The value proposition is slightly different, and they mainly target US market, while we are focusing on Europe. But this is definitely our closest competitor.
As far as regulations, by the way, which are more like stricter, difficult to go through, European or American FDA?
Right now, the situation is changing. So for many years, FDA was considered to be more difficult, but with current MDR, which is new regulation that started this year in Europe, I believe they are pretty similar. So both of them require very high level of security, very high level of evidence, very high level of, and tons of documentation, basically. So I would say, as for now, MDR and FDA are similarly challenging. I would say that the most challenging thing is that AI software is not old thing. It has appeared like 10 years ago maximum. So both those regulations, FDA and MDR, are actually right now trying to adopt to those new technological changes. So we all need to somehow figure out how to tackle AI software within existing regulations.
Yeah, tackle and to popularize and then introduce into the everyday practice. Okay, so as far as competitors, I understand not very crowded space. You just said this, and I understand the biggest hurdle to expansion is what educational curve on the side of physicians and your clients, basically. Cool, Rafal. Let's move on. Round 3, quick Q&A. What are your key productivity hacks as the co-founder of a company? Deep tech, med tech, one of the most exciting but also challenging, demanding in terms of time and effectiveness of your time.
Not sure if I have any specific tactics. My impression is that I spend like 20% of my time trying to optimize my calendar and doing task and time management. I don't know if it's only me, but what I observe is that you can somehow optimize your day or basically your productivity, taking care about your calendar and task list. That's what I observed on my
Do I understand correctly? You're not focusing as much on what to do, but rather what not to do, right? And this is your hack.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And second thing is to block similar activities next to each other and trying to not have too many meetings if possible.
That's interesting. Block to do similar things one after another, not to have high expenses, time spending on setup, setup costs, right? When you switch from one task to a completely different task, maybe with one set of people to a completely different set of people, because there's all these transition expenses, right? Time-wise and people-wise and location-wise and so on. Nice.
Yes, that's absolutely true. So again, I'm not sure if it's only me, but for me, the most energy consuming thing is context switching. So I don't like too many context switching if possible.
Yes, okay, great. And let's move on to more technical side of things. And what tools have helped you most in this company? Tools, I mean, apps, programs, solutions, whatever.
So as Cardiomatics, we have quite common stack of technology. I will not go too deeply into our product. My partner Mariusz would know more about our stack over there, like deep learning things and that kind of stuff. But on the operational part, product wise, we use GitLab, which is kind of environment where we develop our product ideas, when we manage our technical activities. Business wise, we use HubSpot as our CRM and marketing tool. I think also kind of common practice. Communicational wise, we use Slack internally. That's, I think, 3 tools I spent the most time in, and of course email. That's, I believe, at least 40% of my time.
So to sum it up, you're using regular mundane tools to reach unique results and produce unique solutions. Thank you. And that's the art, right? Of doing something.
Thank you for saying that. Doing our best.
Rafal, let's move on to round 4, and that's a round 4 is about the company itself. So founded 2017, I understand. As far as founders, Rafal Samborski, PhD, CEO on our screens, and your co-founder, CTO, Mariusz Monshor, if I'm correct. And
that's correct.
This is the technical guy covering all of that. And I understand you are both the alumni of AGH, University of Krakow.
Everything is correct.
Yeah. How many more people you have in the team right now, and are you hiring?
Yes, so we just crossed 30 people mark. So there are 28 more people in our team. Right now we are a very technical oriented team. So most of these people are either engineers or data analysts. We have also built a business team that currently consists of 7 people. And yes, we are hiring. We are hiring both in technical part of our company, software developers, data scientists, and we also hire in business part of our company, marketing people and sales people. So we are trying to develop both legs of our company at the same time.
Yeah, to run quicker, faster, and all the time. Look, as far as the recruitment process, do you have any interesting kind of insights? How do you do recruitment for the technical people, for instance, and coders? Do you have it like your own tests, or do you do test days or test weeks? What's your approach to find the really good one?
Yeah, so what we found out lately is that it is more and more difficult to attract tech talent. Generally speaking, attracting tech talent is difficult, but attracting tech talent is even more difficult. So what we do currently is we are trying to build our pipeline of candidates. So we are pretty early at this stage, as previously the techniques we used previously, mainly via our university network, they don't work anymore. This is because we are right now looking for more senior people rather than junior people. So
I see.
right now, the most challenges we have are on building pipeline of candidates rather than techniques to filter them to onboarding. But what I think is kind of work, no matter in which area, is that we do recruitment tasks,
Okay.
I would call
Okay.
them. So we like to give very simple tasks to do during our recruitment process. Typically, we give like 24 hours to fulfill them. And those tasks are not very complicated. So typically they should not take more than, I don't know, 1 hour max of the time of candidate. But with these tasks, we want to also test the engagement and the general thinking of given candidate. So it worked previously, and it works very nicely no matter which area we are talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Look, I know you have to run to another meeting. Let's try to cover round 5 as well. Round 5, we call this Formula F3, funding for the future. So, and before we cover the future plans for the funding, you just closed a couple of months back. I understand you just closed seeds round. Congratulations. And this is 3.5 million euros, right?
USD.
USD, okay, with the lineup of VCs like Kaya VC, Nina Capital, Nova Capital, Innovation Nest, but also a grant from Polish National Center of Research and Development, $1 million this time. So
Yeah.
huge amount of money. How do you plan to spend it effectively?
Yeah, so we want to spend it wisely. Definitely we will want to keep a healthy balance between business activities and product activities. So as I said, we are now growing both business team and product team. So business-wise, we are realistic. This is not a small amount of money, but this is amount of money that will help us to rather establish our presence on existing markets rather than rapidly expanding on lots of new markets.
So strengthen position. Yeah. So strengthen the position where you are, and through what? Through positioning yourself as experts with targeted specialist PR and marketing and what events, I understand, and one-on-one visits or conversations, right? So these kind of games.
Yeah, everything what you mentioned, plus something that is unique for medical area, which is clinical evidence. So we expect to spend a significant part of this money to what I would call building our clinical footprint. So we want to onboard clinical experts. We want to run couple of large clinical projects to build more evidence and to, as I call it, increase our footprint in clinical world.
Or you could combine with any pharmacy company dealing with heart diseases or something, where they already recruited hospitals. So this, how to say this, like medical leads or medical, like experts, and you just catch up with them and go through the same channels that they already established, and you don't have to spend time on recruiting.
Yeah, absolutely. Pharma companies are only one example, but being realistic, we know that we will need to have partners.
Yeah.
So we are looking not only for pharma companies, but also for hardware manufacturers, distributors, and anyone who is close to physicians, anyone who is close to patients, to build synergies. Because still being a small company, we know that it will be easier to have this impact together with our partners.
Rafal, last question. What's in it for you in terms of long-term exit scenarios? Do you have any plans now?
I have my own dreams that I will keep for myself, but I don't have any specific exit scenario, or we don't play any specific exit game. We rather think about Cardiomatics as our child that we want to raise to a moment where it will be grown up. We are not sure if it will take 5, 10, 15 years, but definitely what drives us, I'm talking about whole team, is to make healthcare more available, more efficient, and basically closer to patients. So as you mentioned in the beginning, we have like 7.5 billion potential stakeholders, and we want to find a way to somehow impact and make their lives more healthy and more diagnostic wise, more basically better.
Yes. Rafal, thanks a lot for the chat. I wish you all the best, and I wish you, like, knowing how big data analysis and all the tools to analyze is growing, you could say, in quantum leaps. I'm sure at some point you will have this, like, this critical mass will be gathered on the data side, but also on tools that you can use to interpret, and all of a sudden you would go through quantum leaps of development of your program, your solution and your company as well. Wish you all the best. Thanks a lot. We hope to keep in touch with you and monitor all your heart-related successes. All the best. Bye.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure.